Okay. All right, so this week was a tough week for the stock market, but really not that tough. A lot of CEOs were actually suggesting that there might be a correction in the near future that would drop the price. It didn't say exactly what kind of correction they were predicting, but they were really saying that a lot of the prices were overhyped, that maybe the AI was getting ahead of itself, and that we should really kind of like think a little bit and calm down, and they were expecting some kind of downturn from a lot of these stocks. So Nasdaq was basically in the negative this week, starting the week at 24,000, ended up closing around the 23 mark. It's not too big of a drop, but it's when you combine these CEO telling everybody that they expect something to happen shortly, very soon, even though they're still very confident about the future, that it's only going to be a temporary thing, a temporary adjustment, a temporary correction, and then it would go into, in the future, it would be fine, but we just need to go into that correction. We look at the data from October as well in terms of employment data and job data, how we lost like 153,000 jobs in October. Consumer sentiment also down this week, and when you look at that, I mean, that affects everything. You have the job going down, you have consumer sentiment going down, and then you also have when the consumer doesn't feel that well, they don't spend that much money, and they end up in a situation where they don't spend too much money, then the businesses don't do too well. As you know, the consumer is really the driving force of the economy. 70% of the GDP comes from consumer spending. So if we don't have that, this is going to be a significant issue. So I'm still looking for my cursor. There it is. It's just very, very slow. My God. Yeah. Okay, here it is. So this was the job data that came out I think it was yesterday or something. So November 6th, yeah, so U.S. companies announced 153,000 jobs that were lost last month. A lot of these jobs were actually into the corporate sector, changing in roles and all of that. A few times, this came from the Challenger report, and a few times they did mention that tariffs had something to do with that. And so when you look at tariffs, a lot of the tariffs, if you look at the PPI, the input price, the input inflation, if you wish, that these input prices have increased due to tariff. We've seen some changes at the cash register when we go to the store, but really a lot of it has been dampened by the manufacturing, by inventory, by companies actually taking on a lot of these additional costs because they didn't have price power. They didn't have the power to really change the price and expect the consumer to pay for it. Because the consumer doesn't have the money, they're stressed about their job, they're stressed about the economy, they don't have a good consumer confidence in the economy. So if you increase the prices, it reduces the confidence, and then it causes them to do a couple of things. They either buy less, cut down on spending, and then or they substitute for things that are cheaper. So substituting from steak to chicken or something like that is also something that they would do. But this is not something that's sustainable. A lot of companies, they have three choices really. They can, as I mentioned, they can increase the price, take the price and have the consumer pay for the additional cost of tariffs. They could obviously absorb that, and that would basically reduce their profit margin. That would in fact affect the stock market. So because their earnings would be less than the price earning, if you keep the same price earning ratio, then the stock value of the stock would be less than it is currently. So that we would expect then a slowdown in the stock market. And I think we're kind of at that point right now where the companies are trying to figure out now. A lot of these costs are hitting their accounting system and their inventory, and now they have to figure out like how they're going to address these costs. So the other way they can do this, obviously, is by cutting costs. One of the quickest way to cut costs is to let people go. You can immediately let people go, lay them off, fire them, reorg, and get rid of a lot of your employees. That's the fastest way to quit, to close your costs. So to cut your costs. The other way is if you're trying to improve efficiency and all that that takes a long time to implement. Same thing with AI. So this is something that's very a lot of companies have talked about them implementing some AI to reduce the workforce and all that. That's going to take a while to implement something like that. So that's not something that we would see in the near future. In fact, there's some MIT studies that showed that a lot of these projects to replace workers in AI have really had like negative returns. They haven't given the returns that they were expecting. So that's kind of what's going on here in terms of the jobs and how this is affecting. I think they're starting to realize that a lot of companies now, they have to take action to either, cut their reduce their profit margin and tell everybody that it's not going to happen, or cut costs and all that. A lot of people, a lot of CEOs, a lot of executives, their bonus is tied to a high profit margin. So they're not willing to do that. They'd rather lay people off, let people go, and maintain the profit margin than to see the profit margin go down. So here I'm trying to click on the next tab. I don't know why my computer is so slow. I think I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm going to skip the. Actually, no. This is fine because this is about the home builder. So it's something kind of interesting as well. So we're seeing a lot of changes also by the home builders. How they've built a lot of homes, and then they're really trying to get rid of that inventory. The way they're doing that is some of them have put like a 1% mortgage rate to wake up the economy, to show some interest in their market. So U.S. Home buyers are looking for the most affordable monthly payments in year with the average mortgage rate of about 6%. This is the current mortgage rate. So home builders are trying to, so this is new homes, they're trying to make it more affordable, they're trying to make it more, get more attention from the buyers, and so what they're doing is subsidizing the mortgage rates, offering all kinds of perks on appliances, etc., zero closing costs, to really attract the buyers and get rid of that inventory. So they're just showing some example here of a large private builder gave one of their clients a 3.49% fixed rate on a $414,000 home in the town. And the sales agent bumped up the women's commission to cover the costs of breaking the buyer's lease, etc. So they're really making a lot of concessions in order to make these deals happen, to get rid of that inventory. They have a lot of money that's stuck in these buildings. So you want to pay $2,000 a month on a brand new 4-bedroom home and have 2% rate? I can find that now, as crazy as it sounds. So Wayman is saying that, you can find deals. If you're looking for that kind of deal, I can find that. And you can negotiate pretty much anything because these home builders want to get their inventory out. So obviously these are not the perks of a healthy housing market. They're the tactics of an industry trying to get the attention of buyers as tariffs, again, mention of tariffs here, government shutdown, artificial intelligence, add to the feelings of job insecurity. So all these things are really, causing job insecurity, and when people are not secure about their job, they don't want to buy a home, and that's what's going on there. This is probably one of the most expensive things that you can buy. So that's what's going on here, and really the gap in terms of affordability because of these deals that are going on. The affordability of a new home is getting closer to the affordability that you would see on an existing home, because the existing home you would have to pay the market mortgage rate, right? So that's what's going on there. Let's see here. The other one I think is the other story. Oh, not that. I didn't want to go into that because next one is about Tesla. So let's talk about Tesla and the crazy package that Elon Musk got. Crazy. So is the news here. This was from yesterday, but Tesla offers Elon Musk an unprecedented $1 trillion pay package. Which is just insane, of course. Tesla proposed a new compensation agreement for CEO Elon Musk, potentially worth around $1 trillion. So the proposal sets a series of ambitious benchmarks, and I'll share with you the benchmarks. You can see that. And that Musk must meet these benchmarks in order to get the full payout and release some of these shares. And that include expanding the robo-taxi business, growing company's market value to at least $8.5 trillion. So there's a bunch of those things as well as that human robot that they want to do, that he wants to do. So the plan aims to keep Musk focused on Tesla while it pursues growth in newer markets, including robotics and artificial intelligence. And that would be voted, and that was passed. That was voted on yesterday, and that was actually passed. So the plan spans 10 years, by the way, and the additional shares Musk could receive would push his holdings of the electric vehicle maker to at least 25%. So this is something that he was seeking. He was seeking at least 25% of voting shares, and also be able to basically be paid back for what his work over the last few years. So whatever he thought his worth was. So the incentives in the new plan aim to keep Musk focused on Tesla while it pursues growth in newer markets, including robotics and artificial intelligence. I think part of the problem here is that they don't understand what focus means. Focus is to focus, not to be distracted by other things. So Friday's filing also included a non-binding shareholder proposal for Tesla to take a stake in Musk's side project XAI. So that's a startup that he owns. He's trying to raise $20 billion on that, and it's an idea that he had previously discussed with the board, and then I think the board didn't want him to be distracted. So this is a little bit of an oxymoron. Obviously, we're going to invest. On one hand, we're going to give you all this money, this potential money, so that you focus on Tesla. And on the other hand, we're going to invest in a company, in one of your startup that is your side project. So we're going to invest in your side project and also invest in you to be focused on Tesla. Doesn't make much sense. So Musk, who has served as Tesla's top executive since 2008, oversees 4 other companies: SpaceX, XAI, Neuralink, and Boring Company. Right. So So he's already very distracted. I think it's kind of like, oh, let's see if we can grab his attention by this amount of money, and so we'll see what happens. But to me, that's a very desperate move, and also I don't know, it feels kind of weird to me that it sounds more like a cult, the cult of Musk, more than the CEO and a team of people that are building this company. Like CEO is not the engineer, is not, he works with, there's a lot of employees at Tesla. I don't understand why they have to take the knee in front of Elon Musk in order to get him to do anything. So the value of the latest CEO awards was $87.8 billion in the filing. That would swell now to about $1 trillion if Musk hits all the performance targets and gets to collect all the restricted shares. So that's pretty significant. So here's some of these milestones, right? So if you have $2 trillion, I have another slide that's a little bit better than that. So I'll go to that in a second. So it shows that the lifeblood of Tesla solely relies on Musk. And the company seems to agree to that. I don't understand how this can be. So they want to make sure that he stays around for a long time and he stays focused on that. But Musk doesn't stay focused. That's not what he does. So it's kind of like giving him $1 trillion to do something is not something that's really going to make it do it. The incentive for Musk aligns with Tesla's push to grow in artificial intelligence, making xAI a natural partner, potentially. And Tesla boards recognize that there's a huge opportunity over the next decade, and they want to start lining things up to get in a place for a potentially huge outcome. But it's kind of strange. I mean, I would have, so let's say if I was in business by myself, or I had some partners, right? And then I have some investors in my business. And then I started another project on the side, another company that is losing money like crazy. And I'm trying to raise money from that company. Would you give me a raise to make sure that I stay focused on this, or to me that doesn't make sense. And then would you want to invest in that other side project, not take ownership of it, just take a percentage of it to help me? To me, like that would be kind of a little bit of a conflict of interest that me as the CEO would ask the board to invest in my side project so that I can profit off of that, and then eventually maybe include xAI in Tesla at a huge amount of money so that I can grab the. Who knows what's going to happen? I feel like this is it's a little bit scamish, and I just don't like it. I can't really put my finger on what's wrong. I think everything is right for Musk in this case, and I think there's something that I don't trust in this deal, and especially in the proposal to acquire shares of xAI using Tesla. So that's something that I think it's as an investor, I would run. I think if I had a company that if I was investing in a company like that was doing these kinds of deals. So under the new plan, Musk must remain at Tesla as a CEO or some kind of executive officer responsible for product and operations in order to receive the shares. And these shares are divided in 12 tranches, and to receive them, Musk has to hit 12 market capitalization milestone matched with 12 operational milestone, such as delivery of 1 million Optimus robots. Well, good luck with that. 20 million Tesla vehicles, and having 1 million robo-taxis in commercial operation and growing adjusted EBITDA to $400 billion. So this is pretty interesting because, and I'm not a big fan of Optimus, by the way. I'm not a big fan of humanoid robot. I think this is, we've all seen Neo, a little dishwasher with someone with goggles. So imagine if it was AI, how much worse it would be. So if Neo can load a dishwasher with a human operator behind it, there's something about the human form that is not optimal necessarily for a robot. So I would really seriously consider having different robots for different tasks, different perspective. Like I really like my toaster robot. I put toast in it, push a button, and it makes toast. It's very low in intelligence, but I can make toast very easily with it, and it's very cheap. I don't need to pay $20,000 for a Neo to load the dishwasher and put toast. God knows if it would happen if they put toast in. That would be one of my tests. So anyway, so that's Optimus is also the same thing. Is having these robots that try to do everything. Next thing they're going to have lower back pain and knee injuries, and then it's not the best. I've seen some other demos of human robots in manufacturing environment that are taking boxes from one shelf to the other. Like there's some people invented like conveyor belt that take a box and move it there, and it takes half a second, very efficient, and you can crank this up to maximum efficiencies. If you look at Amazon warehouses as well, they have robots to move packages and all that, and they don't look like humans, but they move around, they're efficient, they're made and designed for a purpose. To me, that's where the market is, and do more of that, more intelligent robot like that. It doesn't have to be the human form. And I think the human form comes with a price that they've been trying to do that for decades, and it still doesn't work. So anyway, enough about that. But anyway, so he's gonna sell 1 million Optimus robots. If it goes as quickly as the full self-driving, then it's going to be well beyond the 10 years for this $1 trillion package. So I think it's going to miss that target. Board determined 4 core products line to drive the company. So it's driver-assisted technology called full self-driving, which is still not full self-driving. I've had multiple Teslas. I've paid for the full self-driving. I never received full self-driving, and this seems to be a trend. But that's for another thing, another day, where we pay for things that we're not going to get. We're really paying the company for developing a technology that we're the test people on. We're testing and providing data to a company to accomplish full self-driving, for example, or same thing with Neo. You're buying Neo to basically provide data to the company to make a Neo for the people where it's actually going to be used in the future. Anyway, robotaxis, another one. Robots, yeah. The expansion of Tesla vehicle fleet, yeah. So that's fine. Underscoring the point that producing actual cars still matters to the EV maker for now, I would say. So anyway, so this is kind of where we are. I think, yeah, so that's that one. Then there was there's an opinion piece too that was pretty interesting. Again, I'm looking for my cursor. What's going on? It's so slow. Okay, I think I found my cursor. Wow, extremely slow. So there you go. Oh, so that's Tesla shareholders actually agreeing to this package, this crazy package. And then this is the opinion piece I was talking about. They're very interesting by Liam Denning. So let's look at that. So Tesla spectacular vote is all in on Musk. So don't worry, the title is a little bit off, but here we go. So what is Tesla? I'm not going to go over what we already know. So what is Tesla? It is touted as variously as an electric vehicle maker, a battery powerhouse. You know, remember they bought like Solar City, autonomous driving pioneer, an artificial intelligence giant, an emerging leader in robotics. Emerging is the key word here. But the shareholders' vote that just happened revealed that Tesla has become more like something else entirely, more like a blank check for Elon Musk. Elon Musk is using that company for all kinds of other things that he's basically using it as his own bank. And, you know, I need money for this, I need money for that, and that's it. Now, the annual gathering of Tesla's faithful said yes to the board's $1 trillion compensation package for Elon Musk, with preliminary backing of more than 75% of the votes. And this was just in belief of his abilities to basically bring the company back and be able to sell Tesla again and create this Optimus robots and all of that all by himself. Amazing. The more interesting yes vote was on the proposal 7, and this was about authorizing an investment in XAI, Musk's privately held company that houses its social media platform X and Grok chatbot. Grok actually likes to call himself Mecha Hitler. So interesting. Years outweighed the yays outweighed the nays, but they didn't have the super majority, and the board basically decided to take it. They would review it and decide what to do in terms of the next step. But Tesla ended September, the month of September, with almost $42 billion in cash and cash equivalents on hand. So a huge potential pot of money for Musk AI company. And Musk treat Tesla as its own pocketbook, as its own bank. And he says, I see $42 billion. I want that. I want to use that for my other company, my other side project. I'm getting $1 trillion to focus on Tesla, but I'm seeing this amount of money. I want to use it for my side project. What happened to the focus? I don't know. So a huge potential pot of money for Musk, which is reportedly pursuing $20 billion funding round, and issued a bond earlier this year that currently sports a yield of almost 11%. Good luck with that. So this is with XAI. So describing Tesla as being more like a portfolio than a company, which makes most of the money from building and selling EV, fits this mode of thinking. So if you're still thinking that this is a car, an electric vehicle maker, then this is not exactly what's going on. It also handily deflects from the fact that the main operating business has been in decline for 2 years. So if your main focus is electric vehicles and it's in decline, what are you going to do about it? Well, Cybertruck didn't do it. Tesla T also didn't do it, and actually now Tesla is turning into, with his involvement in politics and all that kind of stuff, and the feud with Trump, it's not helping the company. Stay focused on Tesla is the key point here, and I'm not sure that this is something that's feasible that he can actually do. So the path from pledging to pay the boss far more money than the company has made in profits since its inception, in order to keep him interested in focus, to just putting money into his interest is a short one, right? So he's interested, I'm going to put a huge amount of money to do this, and then, I'm going to put some money in your other side project. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So in 2024, Tesla chair Robin Denholm exhorted shareholders to reapprove the old, merely multi tens of millions of billions of dollars pay package for Musk that has been struck down by the court in Delaware, that it would help keep his ideas, energy, and time inside the company. Yet a year later, Denholm was again imploring investors to pay Musk many multiples more for the same reason. Didn't work before, but now maybe the number was wrong. Maybe we need a bigger number to keep our baby interested into this company. It's a very interesting dynamic. I find that absolutely fascinating that supposedly grown-up, sophisticated investors are falling for this. Maybe that's the last, I don't know, maybe they're just very desperate in in what's going on, and they feel like they have absolutely no choice in the matter, and they have their hands are forced in order to save the company, save their investments, make sure they don't lose everything. All right, so this is my Tesla little thing here. So as you can see, things are changing rapidly, constantly. Things are not always, logical. This is why it's in these times of change, it's important to stay informed. And I suggest that you do that by subscribing to my channel, like this video also, and share it with a friend who is also looking for additional information, looking to make sense of what is going on and what they should be doing. I'm seeing a lot of crazy stuff out there of people people in the business, people in the industry, in the stock market, in Wall Street, that are making very weird decisions. And I think it's important to kind of remind everybody that there are other points of views that are a little bit more I'm not going to say stable, but there are other points of views out there. I think the more different points of views that you can gather, the better it's going to be, I think, for you to make decisions. To me, I think after staying informed and getting different point of views is to really diversify outside of the stock market, outside of Wall Street. I think this is very important. As some of you may know, I've lost like millions of dollars in the dot-com crash because I was diversified, but diversified 100% in the stock market. It's important that when you diversify, you want to diversify outside of that in different asset classes. My recommended asset class is real estate, gold maybe, but really real estate because it grows, you can use leverage, it has cash flow, tax advantages, something that you don't have with gold. Some people are asking me about crypto. Crypto is correlated with the stock market. So if you invest in crypto, you really it goes in the same direction as the stock market, except is going faster in that direction. So if the stock market goes up 1%, crypto is going to go up 5 to 10%. If the stock market goes down 1%, crypto is going to go down 5 to 10%. It's just going to go in the same direction, but faster. So if you want to get started in real estate, go to investorgameplan.com and you can download my investor game plan, and you can also book a call with me and we can discuss your situation and see, and I can propose something that I can help you with or other people that I know can help you with. So let's talk about New York City and the real estate. So that's very interesting. So New Yorkers basically had, during the mayor race and stuff like that, they had some ballot measures that were on the ballot. There were some measures that were on the ballot, and a lot of them were there to aim at accelerating the affordable housing development, real estate development. So this is something that I'm particularly interested in. I don't invest in New York, but I invest in other markets like Chicago, Cleveland, Detroit, and I'm very interested in other markets as well. But whatever happens in New York City might be a trend to other markets that I'm in. So if someone is looking at New York City, maybe that's going to create a trend that would affect Chicago, a place where I invest heavily. So anyway, 3 proposals involving New York City housing. One of them was a fast tracking of affordable housing projects. The other one was expediting modest developments. And the third one was really creating an appeals board. So the first one is, oops, lost my cursor here. Here we go. So the first one, the city affordable crisis has dominated the election cycle, with Mamdani campaigning on his plan to make life easier for cash-strapped New Yorkers. About half of the metro's renters spend more than 30% of their income on housing. This is a threshold that you may have heard, that a third of your income should go to, no more than a third of your income should go towards your housing. So this is kind of like going towards that. But this is not unique to New York City. This is also the same in San Francisco, LA, and other cities out there. So the three proposal sparked outrage from the city council during the lead up to the election, as members argued the changes would weaken their control over neighborhood developments. And that's true. I mean, they're basically trying to shorten this, how fast these projects get approved, by basically sidestepping city council in many cases. So the first one, the first proposal, is the fast track of affordable housing. So this measure creates two fast track processes that cut the review period to about 3 months for certain projects. So under the city's current uniform labor use review procedure, each potential housing project in the city undergoes at least 7 months of reviews and hearings by community boards, borough president, city planning commission, and the city council. The final decision rests with the council unless the mayor issues a veto, which members can override with 2/3 of the vote. So one of two fast-tracking process allows the city's publicly financed affordable housing developments to bypass city council and instead be reviewed instead by the local community board and the Board of Standards and Appeals. So the second involves affordable housing projects in the 12 community districts where the lowest rates of affordable housing tend to be, and these are the kind of like the wealthier areas. The new process will shorten the City Planning Commission's period for review and eliminate the council's review. The local council members will no longer have the authority to block the new housing development. Okay? But that's why we're going to have this appeal process also. Then we have expedited reviews for modest development project. This is very simple. It's really, some projects are, not all projects are the same size. So for example, if you have a proposal to rezone Hudson Yards, and then you have another project which is to build a 4-story building, they shouldn't take the same amount of time, the same amount of scrutiny. Because then you wouldn't build a 4-story building because it would just drive up costs and you just wouldn't bother doing that. So this proposal actually addresses that and expedite the land use review procedure for these smaller proposals. So they're saying actually have these reviews done into 60 days and then followed by 30-day city planning commission. An affordable housing appeals board will also be created, and so just basically to appeal some of these decisions. So this is something that's happening right now in New York City. The proposal that was passed during the election yesterday or the day before. So we're going to monitor that. There are some things that are happening in Chicago as well, where they want to ban basically the rent control. They want to eliminate the ban for rent control in Illinois. So it doesn't mean that there's going to implement ban control, but they want to remove the ban for rent control so that they could potentially implement that in some cities and in some neighborhoods. But that has a long way to go because it has to, this is just an idea that somebody has, it has to be passed and create a resolution, all that kind of stuff, go through the whole process to eventually get into a ballot measure that would be voted by the people. But rent control is a very bad idea if you expect to have development in your your state or your city. Look at what's happening in San Francisco and California with rent control. Basically, there's no unit to be rented, and the price just skyrocket, and everybody sits on their hands and nobody's building anything. So this is it for today, for what I have. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm always looking for that. Also check out my investorgameplan.com. Feel free to download the plan, ask questions. Also, if you want, you can also book a call with me, and we can discuss your situation and see how we can make you get you involved in investing in real estate and whatever you're trying to do, whatever goal you're trying to achieve. If I don't have the answer, I have someone that can help you with whatever you're trying to do. I have a big network of resources that I can make available to you to help you out. All right, so this is it. So I hope you enjoyed this live presentation. If you liked it, make sure you like this, you subscribe to this channel, like this video, share it with a friend that would really appreciate the content that I'm trying to do here. I'm open to suggestions as well about certain topics that interest you. My main focus is really on, I have many main focus. I guess I'm a little bit like Elon Musk. I have, real estate for me is the core, my core investment. I also invest in the stock market, in crypto as well. I actually had a couple of projects like tokenized real estate funds also that I have. So I did that, and I like the economy and looking at what's happening with the economy, the unemployment, the interest, all that kind of stuff. And I love technology, so when they talk about Neo and Optimus robot, this is something that I'm particularly interested in. So again, make sure you like, subscribe, and see you next time.